Awesome. Excited to have you guys joining us for this month's advance call, the August advance call, where we've got some really cool stuff that I'm going to be doing with you guys today. I actually have my own personal phone, and instead of going through the iPad, I'm going to show you guys the actual strategies to some of the pieces of content that we're highlighting for the monthly marketing package this month. So excited for today's session. Now, I do always love to ask where you're joining us from. So if you wouldn't mind in the chat section, let us know where you're joining from. And if you want, what you're excited to learn today. As you guys know, with this, Cape Coral. Oh man, we got some folks from Oregon, California. Always exciting to see where all of our agent friends are joining from. Got some folks from Texas here, Virginia, Scottsdale in the house. So excited to have you guys. And again, the goal with this advanced call is to really make sure that you guys are getting the most out of your app. Now, you probably have different version of the app. I'm going to be showing the PalmAgent unbranded version for demonstration purposes. But the functionality should be the same. I know a lot of you guys have already connected with the title partner and have a branded version of the app. Don't worry, the stuff I show today will work on your version of the app as well. Now, again, the format for these advanced calls, it's typically something that builds on the basics call. So I'm hoping that all of you guys have had the chance to join the basics call and get more familiar with the basic functionality of your app. In that basics call, I go through the buyer calculator, the seller calculator, and of course, setting up your profile so that you can use some of that premium content, a lot of the cool stuff that we'll be talking about today, actually. So that basics call really sets the foundation. So if you haven't joined that, make sure to reach out to your title rep, or you can reach out to us, support@palmagent.com, and we'll give you a link to join that basics call. I hold that every Wednesday. But for the advanced call, this is where stuff gets fun, you guys. Not only are we going to talk about the newest calculators or newest things that we've introduced to the app, but also in this advanced call, we like to focus on the monthly marketing package specifically. As you guys know, each month we highlight pieces of content based on a lot of market research that we do about the biggest conversations you guys are out there having with your clients. And so for August, we created some really cool pieces. I know some of you have already had the chance to use some of those pieces, really awesome pieces this month. But I look forward to showing them to you today because we're not only going to talk about those pieces as we normally do in this call, but today I'm actually going to open up Instagram and I'm going to show you two of those 4 strategies. I'm actually going to walk through them with you. So excited to have you guys joining me today and getting a closer look at not only this amazing content that can help you get more exposure for your brand on social media, but also the specific tactic that we've curated for each of the pieces. Now, if you don't know about those tactics, let me go ahead and show you something that we do that's really cool. Each of the pieces of content that we highlight in the app, there's this strategy PDF that you can talk with your rep about and get access to. It'll show you the piece that's being highlighted. And then, of course, if you look at the other pages, it's a multi-page item here that'll give you a specific strategy. So for this piece, this is one of the strategies we'll be going over today. A green screen reel using this rent has nearly tripled since 2000. Great infographic for really showing your followers that rent isn't something they should be paying. If they're still renting and they're not a homeowner, this is the type of content that can really shock and awe them into pulling the trigger on buying a home. So a really cool piece of content, but we've created a green screen reel tactic for this. And so this is one of the ones I'll be going through with you today. We're actually going to open up Instagram and we're going to create a green screen reel. So definitely some really cool stuff there. But with this strategy PDF that we provide, we'll actually show you the steps for accomplishing that strategy. As I mentioned with this one, it's doing that green screen video. We've got the steps for doing the green screen video. We even include the script. And so I'll be recording this one live with you guys today to show you how it's done. I encourage you to do it with me. Of course, we also provide you with the captions and hashtags for the content as well. And again, this is just one piece. Each month we highlight 4 pieces of content. So we have a strategy for the 2 ways to spend a seller credit graphic that we've created. This is a great piece to take to your conversations with your buyers right now, you guys. In fact, I'll scroll down and I'll show you that's what the strategy for this one is. Taking this to that one-on-one with a buyer. The piece, I'll show you more once we open it up in the app, but it talks about how to use a seller concession, and it gives different options for using that seller concession. Right now, a lot of these transactions are happening with concessions, but if we can get a concession for our buyer, how do we use it? What works best for our buyer specifically? Do we need to use it as a closing cost credit to lower their upfront costs? Or, something that a lot of these buyers don't know about, these buy downs, temporary buy downs, which can really give them some immediate relief against affordability. But also these permanent buy downs are pretty cool as well, especially because they can help with qualification. If you do a permanent buy down, that actually stretches your buyability up a little bit. And so, both of these are ways that they can use that seller concession. You just need to be able to sit down with them and have a conversation about that. Again, if you're dealing with a buyer who's worried about affordability right now, they're not ready to quite pull the trigger yet, talking about a concession with them, and then showing them, educating them on different ways to use a concession definitely can be that light at the end of the tunnel for them if they're feeling a little discouraged by these affordability issues seeing with where rates are right now. So really cool piece to take to your conversation with a buyer. We even give you a script for that conversation with your buyer. Sellers are already negotiating, so if we can get a credit, the next question is how to use it. Great conversation piece here for you. And that was just the second piece. Again, each month, you guys, we highlight at least 4 pieces. Sometimes we do more than that. But the third item, and this is another one that we'll actually go through today. This piece that we highlighted in the August monthly marketing package talks about home values and what has happened to home values over the last 10 years. And what I love about this, and one thing that I know you guys love about it as well, is that we've stepped up our game in regards to this local data. And so we've tied that into this infographic. Not only can you show what has happened to home prices over the last 10 years nationally, so this is just an example, you guys. The actual number is about 95%. Pretty crazy if you think about what home prices have done over the last 10 years. But nationally, then we do your state. Saw a lot of states in the building today, on the call today. So we've got your state, but even further, we dial it down to the specific county, you guys. If you plug in an address, we'll pull your specific appreciation for your county. So what's happened to homes over the last 10 years in your county, your local market. So very cool piece. The strategy that we have for this one is actually using a story sticker. The engagement stickers on Instagram are such a powerful way to help you with that algorithm. Essentially, when you put an engagement sticker on your story on Instagram, you're inviting these viewers of your story to engage with your content. You're actually putting an actionable step on the content. And so these engagement stickers are a really powerful way to boost engagement on your profile. For those of you who are using stories often, I encourage you to use the engagement stickers, whether it's a poll sticker, a quiz sticker, a reveal sticker, even the little slider sticker where they can let you know how much they love something. All of that helps with your algorithm because the viewer is actually taking action on your content. And like I said, with this one, we're actually going to be posting this piece of content with a poll sticker together today. So this is the other one that I'll be going through with you guys, how to do that poll sticker or quiz sticker, any engagement sticker really on your story content. And of course, just like with the green screen strategy, We want to help you with how to do that. I know I'm going to show you how to do that on the call today live, but we do have this strategy PDF that shows those steps for using an engagement sticker on your Instagram story. So, of course, I wanted to mention that. Now, I do want to show you something real quick. Let me switch over to my phone and I'll pull up our Instagram real quick because I do want to show you guys that all of those pieces of content, all those strategy PDFs that I was just scrolling through, you can of course reach out to your rep. They can find that in their content tab of their dashboard. So your rep can provide that to you. But on our Instagram page, I've actually gone through and made a story about those four, or a reel about those four different strategies. And the reason I mention that is that if you comment,
rent has nearly tripled since 2000.
Pause that. If you comment on that, this one, for example, is rent. The comment is rent. But if you comment on that, we actually DM you that strategy PDF that we were just looking at, the specific strategy for that piece of content. And so I encourage you guys, go follow us on Instagram. You can, of course, comment on those specific videos if you want me to send you that specific strategy PDF for the content that you want to use. But again, two of the four, we're actually going to go through together today. So excited about today's call. In fact, without further ado, let me go ahead and open up my PalmAgent app. Now, again, I mentioned this before, as I do on all of these calls, I'm showing an unbranded demo version of the app. So at the top of the screen, you can see mine says PalmAgent. And, my fees and such might be a little bit different from you guys. In fact, I'm tied to a DFW area here. So my taxes and such will be based on this DFW area. So the numbers might vary a little bit on your app, but the functionality should still be the same. Now, again, just to give a quick refresher for those of you who didn't have the chance to join the basics call, on that basics call, I go through the buyer calculator, which is how we run an estimate for our buyer. We can plug in a home price. I'll do 5.25, hit compute down there at the bottom, and there's that monthly payment and bring to close. So when we're house shopping with that buyer, this is the ultimate tool. It's not meant to replace a lender. It's just meant to empower us to have better conversations with our buyer on the fly. Being able to run these scenarios so quickly and easily and have it preloaded with all the fees, thanks to the lovely title partners that we've connected with. That's the core of the app, being able to generate that buyer estimate. Or, if I switch over to the seller tab, generating a net sheet as well. World's fastest net sheet. You can create and email off a great looking net sheet in under 30 seconds. In fact, all that you really need to do to run a net sheet, you guys, is plug in that price point. I'll do a 5.25 price point, and then add an address in that top left corner. Now, when you add an address, for those of you who don't know, we've got some really cool data points that we're pulling about these addresses. On your seller tab, it's going to be minimal. All we're going to pull is the tax record, which is great. That's from county records, how much that homeowner's paying in taxes. And then, of course, the loan balance on the home. That's another thing that we pull in these seller calculators. We can see when that homeowner started their loan. And we can actually use an average rate for the year they started that loan, but we'll run an amortization schedule and show you how much they owe today if they've been regular on their payments. And so, if you don't know about HomeLink, it is awesome. I encourage you to plug in an address for every scenario that you're running. But I'll go ahead and press use estimate. It fills in those necessary items, the property taxes, the loan balance, and then I press compute. Just like that, we can tell the seller how they're making a net sheet. Now, I know all of you on the call today, you're already using this for your net sheets, and so this may be a refresher for you guys, but I wanted to make sure that we all know, at least using this app at a basic level, for running buyer estimates when we're out there house shopping with our buyers and generating this net sheet quickly and easily right here from our phone for our listing appointments with the seller tab. And of course, I can't go without mentioning that these calculators come with printouts as well. That share icon in the top right corner, you press send full report, it's going to generate that great looking printout with all that information neatly laid out on a printout that has you looking professional when you give it to that homeowner that you're working with and talking about the sale of their home. And of course, we've got cool features, bottom left corner. There's different templates that you can choose from. And of course, my favorite features are found in the customize menu in that bottom right corner, where you'll find a language feature with 17 different languages, color options, the ability to change your branded footer down there, all those different options found in that customize menu in the bottom right. So had to at least touch on the basics so that you guys, for those of you who maybe have joined this advanced call and hadn't had the chance to join that basics call, at least want you to understand the core of the app, which is generating that buyer estimate when you're house shopping and that seller net sheet for your listing appointments. Now, what we do here on the advanced call, though, is we typically take it a step further than that. I'll jump to the calculators tab and mention that we've got all of these amazing calculators, and we like to talk about on this advanced call whatever new calculators we've introduced or whatever the most relevant ones for today's business. And so I've got some cool ones that I want to direct you to. For those of you who have joined a few of these advanced calls, some of those tools may be similar to ones that we've talked about in previous months recently, because they're still extremely relevant for the market dynamics that we're seeing right now. And so I'll of course cover some of those calculators, but before we do that, I really want to go through this social media content with you. That's the other part about our advanced call. We like to go through the social media content, specifically the monthly marketing package. I want to talk about those pieces that we've highlighted. And of course, today we're doing it a little different. We're going to actually go through those strategies. And so I'll go ahead and open up that pop-up for the monthly marketing package, and we'll start by talking about this content, and then we'll switch over and we'll go back and talk about those calculators that are relevant for the conversations that we're seeing you guys have today. All right, so the first piece that we highlighted in the monthly marketing package is meant to be a thumb stopper on social media. A lot of these buyers, you guys, are waiting for lower rates, especially when they've got family members, they've got friends. Jennifer asked how to get to the monthly marketing package. So if you go to your premium tab, then you'll see featured cards up here at the top. In that featured section, that's where you'll see the most recent monthly marketing package. So down there at the bottom, we've got the buyer calculator, seller calculator, and then the calculators tab. We're talking about the premium. That's where you'll find that social media content. And specifically up there at the top of the premium section is where you'll find this monthly marketing package. So if you click on that card, that's how you'll trigger that pop-up and you'll see the pieces that are being highlighted for this month. All right, so back to that thumb-stopping rate post. A lot of these buyers, especially with them having friends and family who bought and got a sub 3, a sub 4 rate, a lot of these buyers are a little hesitant, and they're waiting, they're holding back, waiting for rates to come down. They've got cold feet. They want better rates before they actually pull the trigger. And so if you're not seeing that, you might want to relaunch your app. For those of you who don't know how to do a full relaunch on an iOS device, what you can do is you can, from the bottom of your screen, swipe up halfway, and that'll give you your active apps. And then you'll swipe up on an app to close it. And once you close that, so I'll go ahead and close it here. I'm going to close that PalmAgent app. Now, when I go in and I open up PalmAgent, it's going to give me a fresh relaunch. For any of you who aren't seeing the August monthly marketing package in there, that's the first thing I would do is I would hard relaunch your app with that method that I just showed you guys. We've got another question for, no problem, Tony. For Tina, where can we find the instructions on how to use the green screen? What I want to direct you to do is, if on Instagram, if you search PalmAgent, And on those reels, so you scroll down, you choose the reels category right here. The green screen is going to be this first tactic on here with the rent. If you comment rent on that post, we've got it automatically. We'll send you the strategy PDF that contains that green screen, those green screen steps. So Tina, if you go and comment on that, we'll send that to you immediately right now. All right, so let's launch this and talk about that first piece. So the goal here with this piece is really to get those buyers, grab their attention on social media. The strategy for this is actually posting it to social media, and we've curated a really awesome caption for you. But again, the goal is to pull at their heartstrings in regards to that rate. A lot of these buyers, they're waiting for that lower rate, a rate that's got a 4 on it. That sounds nice. For somebody who's on the fence and doesn't want to pull the trigger right now because of this 6, close to 7 rate, this is the type of post that'll catch their attention on social media. So definitely a cool piece here. Now, when you go in, this is actually a dynamic piece. So it's got that 6.875 and then of course the 2-to-1 buy down, bringing us down to 4.875 that first year. And of course, we've got the details down here at the bottom, what your payment would be at 6.875 versus 4.875, and then, how much in savings that would be. But of course, that's based on an example home price. In this example, it is a $500,000 house. Shows so on the little disclaimer down there. But maybe I'm working with clients in that $300,000 price point. Oh, Denise has a good question about green screen. So yes, as of right now, I don't believe that they've done the green screen effect for Facebook yet, for Facebook stories. I think it's only Instagram as of right now. Don't tell anybody I told you this, but we're actually working on a green screen effect feature in the app. So that's actually on the roadmap to finish by before the end of the year. So watch for updates from us. We're actually loading that green screen feature into the app. Bruno looks like they have a good question. Does the app have a similar layout on desktop? It's similar. All the features that are available on your mobile device are available on a laptop or a desktop as well. If you go to PalmAgent.com, in the top right corner, you'll see the ability to log in, and you can log into your app there. And that'll work for all brands. If you have a specific brand of the app, you can also visit that brand's download site. Your title rep can point you in the correct direction for your brand. But the PalmAgent.com website as well will be a way that all of you guys can log in regardless of brands. Okay, Charles asked about the keywords. So the keywords are in the caption on those Instagram posts, but if you're looking at the first one that talks about rent, the strategy for that is the green screen reel. The keyword for that one is rent. But each of those captions on those 4 posts, the most recent posts on our Instagram page, do mention the keyword there. So, awesome. We've got Courtney in the building here. Courtney, it looks like you sent that to just hosts and panelists. So if you could send that to the agents as well on the call, marking it for everybody. All right, so with this piece, going back to it, I want to mention how it's dynamic. Again, this is a $500,000 home price, but maybe I work absolutely. Tina's asking if this rate can be customizable. When you open up any of these graphics, you'll see at the bottom, there's a continue button. If there's not a dynamic aspect to it, it'll just say share down there. But since this one has that continue button, if I press that, it actually takes me into the calculator that corresponds with this infographic. Now it's going to have the average rate for today based on Mortgage News Daily. That rate is loaded in there right now, the 6.625. I could even change that to a 6.5 if I wanted to. Also, if we plug in the home price, maybe I work with clients in that 375 price range and I need it to work with them. Or for those of you in California, that $1.2 million price point, it's going to tell us how much this buy down would cost. So again, this one shows a 2-to-1 buy down. So a 2-to-1 buy down on this 375 home is about 7,600. We press compute and it's going to customize this graphic. Now it's doing the 6.5 rate down to 4.5. So absolutely you can customize that rate on this graphic. Again, really awesome, simple post for you to make on social media just to get some of those buyers who are hesitant about where rates are right now, get them thinking about the fact that they could address that rate and get a better rate right now. Even though rates aren't where they want them to be, there are tactics where we can get a buyer a lower rate, oftentimes on the seller's dime. And so this is a great way to spark that conversation with your followers on social media. So great social post here. So Elda asks a really good question here. This is content that is in our premium section. So due to compliance reasons, all this content that's available in the premium tab can't be provided to you by your title partner for free. There has to be a paid portion. Due to all those P50 and RESPA laws, there has to be a paid aspect to this premium content. So you do have to have premium. It costs 99 cents a month, or if you want to pay for the full year, it's $9.99, but you do have to have premium to use these pieces of content that I'm talking about here that we've highlighted in the monthly marketing package. Also on that same point, because Elda also mentioned a trial, we do give a 30-day trial. So anybody who subscribes, we won't charge you until that 31st day. So if you haven't tried premium yet, go ahead and subscribe. As long as you cancel before that 31st day, you'll never be charged a dime from us. And I encourage you guys to start your trial, use some of this content, and get a feel for how much value you're getting for those 4 rusty quarters. All right, so that's the first piece. Let's talk about our next piece here that's being highlighted in the monthly marketing package, which is that rent has nearly tripled since 2000. You know, when we came across this stat, it was pretty crazy. Not only has rent tripled since 2000, but a lot of that increase has come since 2020. And so this piece lets you just start that conversation on social media about where rent is. In a lot of our markets, rent is insane. I know it is here in DFW. This is a cool way to really drive that aspect home in your social sphere and get these renters thinking about how much their rent has increased. You know, a lot of these renters have gone through these rent increases over the last few years, and they've been pretty intense rent increases. And this is a really powerful way for you to just hint at that on social media, and spark a conversation there. You might be able to get some renters converted over to buying. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open this one up. This one, as you can see, it just says share down there at the bottom. Let me see real quick. I got a question from Francisco. Maybe it's already there. What about calculator to compare between buying down the rate and paying down the principal instead? Yes, Francisco, I'll mention that. So that's actually one of the pieces that we've highlighted for this month. So definitely a cool piece there. All right, so with this rent piece, as you can see down at the bottom, it says share. It doesn't say continue here. That's because this one is not dynamic. This is just basing off of what the median rent was in 2000 versus what the median rent is today nationally. This is a national stat here, so no local aspect to this. But what's really cool, again, as I mentioned before, it lets you show that a majority of the increase has happened in the last 6 years, since 2020. In fact, we've had more rent increase since 2020 than any decade before that. That's actually, the 2020s alone have increased more than any entire decade before. Again, just a really powerful thing to post on social media and get your renters thinking about how much they're paying in rent. Now, this one, like I mentioned, has a strategy with that green screen effect, and I want to show it to you. And so what we're going to do something real fun. I'm going to switch over to Instagram, and we're actually going to go through and I'm going to show you how to do that green screen reel right here in Instagram Live. And so I'm going to go ahead and press the plus in the top left corner. That's how I'll go in and start a new post. And down there at the bottom, you can choose different type of posts. You want to do a regular post, a reel, a story. Let's go ahead and keep it on story because, again, the strategy for this piece is posting a story. But, oh no, it's a reel. We'll do that green screen reel. So we're going to switch to reel. The story will be for the other one. Now, once you've chosen reel, you need to press this camera icon right here. That'll open up to a live camera. And you'll see down here at the bottom, there's a green screen effect option there. If you're not seeing that, you may need to press this effects button. If you press that effects button, that'll actually pull up a library and you can go through and find a green screen option there. But again, it might just be showing for you here. Once you press that green screen, it then pulls up content here, and this is going to have all the content that you've saved. So again, we've got to be in our app. We've got to press that share option in our app and choose to save this to our device. I like to use the more option where it pulls up this option here, save as image or share as PDF. I'll do share as image, and then it's going to give me the option here to save this image. And, once you do that, it's now going to be in your, make sure you give it 5 stars if you get a review option that comes up. All right, so now that I've saved that piece of content to my camera roll, let's go back to Instagram. Now it's going to show here in these options. Now I've got that rent piece right here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that piece up. And now you'll see it makes that as the background. Now, I like to press on it one time. You'll see once you tap, it does different methods for that green screen image behind there. So I like to do it where, it does an option where it mirrors it. Then it does an option where it's zoomed in. I like the one that's zoomed out. And for this piece specifically, I think you should cover up the red side of the graph for the beginning of your green screen reel. Now, the other part of the green screen reel that I mentioned earlier, if we jump over to this and, this one, is that script. So if you comment and you get this strategy PDF sent to you, we actually have a script in here. And you can copy that script. The reason I want to mention you copying that script, I'll switch back over to my phone now, is that there is a really cool feature in Instagram that a lot of people don't know about. Over here on the right side, where you've got that effects panel there, this rounded square one with the lines in it, that's actually a teleprompter. Instagram has a teleprompter built right in here. So if you have that script, which we've provided to you, I've gone in and copied it. You can actually paste it in here. Paste. Oh, I thought I copied it earlier. Let me go ahead and switch over to Slack and I'll copy it from myself again. So here we go, copying that, pasting it here. And now we've got a teleprompter up there at the top as well. And so again, I can hold over put my face over that red area of the graph. You'll want to press this little shutter button to start recording, and then that'll also start your teleprompter. And so you can say, has your rent gone up in the last 2 years? Rent has nearly tripled since 2000. And what's really wild is that a huge chunk of that increase happened in just the last few years. If your rent feels more expensive now than it used to, you're not imagining it. If you're wondering if continuing to rent still makes the most sense, I'd be happy to run a simple rent versus own comparison for you and just show you how the math shakes out. It's that simple, you guys. Just go through, read the script that we've put for you with that green screen effect. You can press next, and there's our green screen reel that we can post. And so that's one of the tactics that, again, the Instagram algorithm is really promoting this type of content. It wants you to have your face in the content, but it also wants you to share things with your followers and such. And so this is a really cool method. let's see what questions we have. Okay, let me start at the top with Karen's question. So Karen is saying that she is not seeing that green screen button. Again, the option for that, if you're not seeing these filter options that you can scroll through, you'll want to press this little icon up here with the stars on it. That'll open up an effects menu, and you can go through and find the green screen options here. There's actually even a search in the top left corner. You can type in green screen. So there you go, Karen. No problem. Let's see. Oh, it looks like some of the people who've got the basic otter plan, a lot of those messages are coming through. Let me scroll back up here. Absolutely, you guys are going to get this recording to Susan's question. Steffi, for your question about the teleprompter. So again, you have to be on this reel format. I think only the reels have. I don't even think that the story has the teleprompter. Yeah, stories don't have the teleprompter option over here. Only reels do. So if you jump over to reel, now you'll see this effects menu over here on the right side. Teleprompter should be one of those options there. If you're not seeing it, I'd recommend that you go update your Instagram app. Let's see who else. Okay, yeah. So Kimberly, we've got those steps if you comment on that video. And of course, we'll send this recording out and you'll be able to follow along here as well. Okay, so just for Ellie's quick run through here, so I'm gonna press the plus icon in the top left corner. You open up Instagram, you're on your feed, you press that plus icon in the top left corner to start a post. You'll wanna check down at the bottom to make sure you're in reel. Then you'll choose that green screen effect. If you're not seeing it, you'll want to go into the effects menu with those 3 stars, search, green screen with the search in the top left corner. Once you select that effect, you'll press on it and it'll let you choose your content that you want behind there. So, all right, let's see. I see more messages coming through. Let's see. Okay. Awesome. Absolutely. Angie, we'll have the team send you the link for the basics call. All right. And absolutely, you can, to Ellie's question, great question there. You can also save that reel to post it later. In fact, when you go through the post options, one of the last steps is if you want to post it as a post as well. And so, you know, there's the tactic for that rent piece. Definitely a really good one for you guys to do this month. All right, so the next piece that we've highlighted in the August monthly marketing package, the third piece is actually a printout to take to your meetings with your buyers. As I mentioned earlier, absolutely. So Mike Dewey asked about step-by-step directions for creating those reels. Again, I just want to direct you to Instagram, search for PalmAgent, our PalmAgent Instagram page, and then the first 4 reels. So if you're on the reels section here, the first 4 reels, you'll want to read the caption and comment what the keyword is on that post. I believe it's rent for the first one, values for the second one, credit for the third one, and rates for that fourth one. I believe those are the 4 keywords for those. But if you comment that keyword on that video, we'll actually send you the PDF that has those step-by-steps for those different tactics. So Mike, hopefully that helps you out. Good name, by the way, fellow Mike on the call. All right, so back to the monthly marketing package, and the third piece that we're highlighting is this 2 ways to spend a seller credit. And again, you guys, as mentioned before, this is something that can really be that breath of fresh air if you've got that buyer who's a little hesitant and worried about rates. The conversation, and we can jump over and talk about calculators that you can use in just a second, But you should be starting these conversations about seller concessions. A lot of these transactions are happening with seller concessions, and seller concessions could be the key to that affordability problem that that buyer's facing. And so, just by you being able to talk about seller concessions and buy downs and how it actually makes this purchase more affordable, it could be the conversation that was needed for that buyer to move forward and actually pull the trigger. And that's why this piece is such a great piece to take to your buyer consultations. You can take this to that conversation with that buyer and actually talk about concessions, getting a concession from that seller, submitting an offer, asking for a concession, but then also different ways to use that concession. And what we've done with this piece, I love it. In fact, 1 in 5 listings nationally has taken a price cut. That is just what's happening now. A lot of these listings are having to do reductions. They're having to give concessions. That's just the market that we're in, because these sellers who want to sell, they're having a hard time because the buyers don't want to buy. And so it's on the seller oftentimes to make the home purchase more appealing to these buyers. And that's why we're seeing price reductions. We're seeing seller concessions happen a lot. We need to know that that's the dynamic that's happening in our market, because that's how we better serve these buyers that we're working with. It also helps us better serve our sellers. If you understand that those are the conditions that we're dealing with right now, you can get those buyer or those sellers to price more realistically. If they understand the dynamics of, there being less buyers on the market, we really got to get these buyers interested in our house. There's fewer buyers right now. We got to make sure they want our house, and being able to talk your home sellers through different tactics, whether it's offering concessions, doing reductions, whatever the case may be. But on the buy side, when you're having conversations with these buyers who are a little hesitant, it's important to be able to talk about concessions and buy downs. And this graphic is really awesome because it lets you do that. It lets you run a scenario. First, it gives, the note about how common it is for reductions to happen right now. And then, of course, it gives the scenario. This one is tied to our calculators, and so you can plug in that scenario that works for your clientele. So I've plugged in a 5.25 on this example here. And so it gives the numbers for a 5.25 purchase here. And with this 5.25 purchase, if they were to do a 2-to-1 buy down, it would cost about 11 grand, and that's going to save them $600 a month. That's the type of thing that a hesitant buyer who's worried about affordability, who wants that lower rate, they're actually considering waiting to buy, hoping for a lower rate because they need to save a little bit of money on that monthly payment. That's the type of savings that really gets them interested in a tactic like this. That's on a $500,000 home, saving $600 a month is actually that's something that the buyer will feel. Now, again, we got to have that conversation with them about a temporary buy down. And hey, this is your savings for that first year. The second year, you'll have less savings. And then years 3 through 30, you'll be back up to the normal monthly payment. So we do have to have that type of conversation with this buyer. But again, $600 a month in savings, even if it's for that just that first year, that's the type of number that really gets this buyer like, oh, that would make it more affordable. I'm going to get a raise next year, but yes, I could use that $600 a month savings right now. And so this is a really awesome thing to talk about with them. But also, they could put that towards the closing costs. In this example, the cost of the buy down is about 10.5, and so this is where they ask for 11 and put that towards the closing costs. And of course, it's going to lower that bring to close amount. And so those are two different options available to them. Another option that is available to them is just offering 11,000 below ask. That's another thing that they technically could do. As we see, it's only going to save them about $65 a month if they were to offer that 11,000 below. So again, if you've got a buyer who's trying to get you to submit an 11,000 below or 10,000 below, 15,000 below offer, show them that a better way that might be more beneficial to them, a more meaningful discount for them might be, instead of offering that 11,000 below ask, give the seller what they want. They want 5.25, give them a 5.25, but ask for a concession. use that for a 2-to-1 buy down, or use it to lower your upfront costs. So really cool piece to take to that conversation with the buyer and talk about offer strategy. Now, again, this piece is tied to our calculator. So there's a continue button at the bottom. You press continue, and now we've got the ability to plug in a price point that works for our clientele, so that this will actually work for that specific buyer when I have that sit down with them. So definitely a great piece I wanted to cover with you guys, and something that's really valuable for conversations with buyers in today's market. Now let's talk about that last piece. The last piece is so awesome. It's one of my favorites. Again, being able to talk about what's happened to home values. A lot of social media and the news articles, they're talking about how stale the market is, and depreciation in some cases. And this is, we've put out a lot of content recently in some of the reports. I know some of you maybe have seen the new buy now or buy later stuff that we've been doing, but we've really been leaning into appreciation, especially historical appreciation. When you start looking back historically over 20 years, 50 years, 75 years, depreciation is actually a lot more rare than people realize. Real estate is one of the best asset classes ever created. I mean, homes typically generally appreciate. Now, don't get me wrong, there's of course those times where we do see depreciation. But if you look at take a step back and look at the grander picture, you're able to see that it actually is pretty rare for homes to depreciate. If you look at each year, they typically always appreciate. It's just a matter of how much. That's why this is such a cool piece, because if there are headlines out there that are talking about a slower market, talking about less appreciation, talking about depreciation, this is a really cool piece for you guys to post. Not only to talk about what homes have done over the last 10 years nationally, at the state level, and then locally as well, but also just shocking all those people who are talking about depreciation. Yeah, there was even a little bit of depreciation if we look back in this 10-year window, but really, the numbers are pretty staggering. Now, again, this is just an example numbers that we have on here. You'll actually want to plug in an address up there at the top. It says add address to see what's nearby. You plug in an address, then you can press continue at the bottom, and it's going to tailor this graphic to your specific area. So it'll find what county that address is in, and it'll dynamically adjust this piece of content for that county instead. So it'll have the national up top, then your state, Texas here, and then the local level as well. Now look at these numbers, you guys, because the national one, on that example, we had 58. If you look back nationally over what home prices have done over the last 10 years, 95%. That's crazy. I don't know if any of us have actually looked at what the number is, but homes nationally have appreciated 95% over the last 10 years. Here in Texas, that's 91%. And in the Tarrant County local area, it's 105% appreciation that you've seen on a home over a 10-year period. Again, especially for anybody who's in Tarrant County, this is awesome to post. And for other counties as well, plug in your address. These numbers will shock you as well as they will your followers on social media. And so this is such a great piece to post on social media, update your followers, and really give a look at what's happening here locally in our market, what has happened over the last 10 years. This one, though, again, I mentioned a tactic for this one. The engagement stickers. One of my favorite tricks on social media are these engagement stickers. Like I said, they get people to engage with your story. They take action on your story, which helps your algorithm. Let's go through Instagram and let's talk about that tactic. I'm going to show you guys how to do an engagement sticker on Instagram. There's a variety of different ones.
Most likely to bail you out of jail.
Wow, that was probably one of our title partners.
Most likely to bail you out of jail.
But all right, so for opening up a story, creating a story, so you'll want to press that plus icon again in the top left corner. And now at the bottom, we're looking for story. Again, we're making a story with this one. So I'm going to go to story, and that's where I'll get my different story options here. In the bottom left corner, that's where you'll be able to choose the piece of content. Instead of doing a story with a video, I want to use a piece of content. So I'm going to that option in the bottom left corner, and that's where I can choose what content I want to use. Now, again, I'm doing it on this piece here that talks about appreciation. So I'm going to pull that up. And now to do the stickers that we're talking about, you'll want to go to this sticker button right here. Sticker button is this little rounded square button. If you press that, you'll get a bunch of different stickers here. And some of these are really awesome, but some of them are engagement stickers. They're actually interactive. As you can see, there's a little slider. If you post something like a cute puppy pic, how cute do you think this puppy is? And then they use the little slider. You know, that's, again, it's a meaningful action that viewer is taking on your content. So in Instagram's eyes, your content is going to be shown to more people because people are actually engaging with your content. And so it helps your page. The ones that I think are best for this piece of content specifically, question stickers are pretty cool, but for this one, I would do a poll sticker. I'd put a poll sticker, it's going to give you the sticker, and then you can just ask a question. How do you think, or since this is a yes or no, do you think locally we've seen more? So it's actually addressing what we'll do now is we're going to drag that sticker down, pinch and zoom and make it larger and cover up that bottom section, the local one. So now we're showing them what the national is, and you can click on it, and up here at the top, you can change the color of it. And of course, you can put a different question if you want. But this is a way for us to make a post on our story that talks about national appreciation, and then it talks about state appreciation, and then it has them engage with our content, and we can make another story where we actually put the full piece up there and show them what the local number looks like. But this, again, is a way for us to put a piece of content on our story and give our viewers a way to actionably take a step on there. Which, again, in terms of your algorithm on Instagram, is just beneficial for you to get that engagement. It shows the Instagram algorithm that you're actually posting content that's engaging, that's getting viewers to take action. So I love these engagement stickers, you guys. Like I said, there's several of them to use. The poll sticker, the question sticker, where you can ask a question, have them plug in an address if they want to look at homes in a specific area, or plug in a city that they're interested in. There's a lot of different ways that you can get these viewers taking action. You'll just want to use a question sticker, a poll sticker, that slider sticker. A lot of these engagement stickers are really beneficial. So definitely wanted to show that to you. All right. So that is the story Instagram engagement sticker for your story tactic. Now, with the last few minutes, those are the 4 pieces that we're highlighting. The last few minutes, I want to go back to the calculators tab. Let me see if there's any questions here. Do you need to add stickers to Instagram? No, ma'am. Jeanette asked if you need to add those stickers. Those are Instagram stickers that Instagram provides to everyone. So those will be available, and they should be available on your business page or your personal page. Great question there. Charles is asking about getting this recording. I don't know if it'll be today specifically, but yes, anybody who attends this, you absolutely will get the recording sent to you. Yeah, there's some cool comments in here that I encourage you guys to take a look at. Ellie, let's see. Are these background infographics something that we save in our photo library? If not, where does Instagram find them? Exactly. Yes, similar to how we did that green screen effect, we save that image to our camera roll. That's the method that we would want to do for the story as well, so that it shows up in that library. All right, I think I've got all those. All right, so let's see. Are engagement stickers available on posts or just stories and reels? Great question. So stories are the only one, to my knowledge, right now that has engagement stickers. Although I was running an ad earlier and it was asking a question that makes me think that Reels can do it too now. But I'm not 100% certain on that for sure. I do know that story for the longest time was the only content type that gives you the ability. And again, only on Instagram. Some of the engagement stickers Facebook started introducing, but not all of them, and I don't know where they currently stand. Since Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, we should see more of those being added over to Facebook, but Instagram is where you'll find the most of the engagements. Oh man, that's a great question. So, Michelle brings up a point. If you're working with a title partner who does not have PalmAgent yet, what you can do is you can just connect them with our support team, support@palmagent.com. For those of you who don't know about that support team, we've got a full-time tech support team available to you if you're ever having questions or issues with your app. Support@palmagent.com is definitely a good resource for you to have. All right, so with the last 5 minutes, I do want to yes, Fabiola, if you want to reach out to our support@palmagent.com, they'll be able to get you that link. Also, your title rep should be able to get you that as well, but I can guarantee you if you reach out to support, we'll be able. Denise, for your question, I'd reach out to support about that as well. Downloading should be an option there. You might need to press more and then save image should be the option there. All right. So the last 4 minutes, I want to give you the 4 tools that I recommend you check out and you start trying to implement into your conversations with your buyers and sellers. They're the most relevant tools for today's market. The 4 are the true value analysis, buy now or buy later, holding costs, and the buy down calculator. So the 2 that you would use with your buyers who are a little hesitant, waiting for lower rates, buy now or buy later, which lets you compare buying now where rates are a little bit higher, but you're able to get the home for the right price, versus buying in the future where you might get that lower rate, but you're going to pay more for the home because homes appreciate. Even more so in these low rate markets where buyers start fighting over homes. So homes are more expensive in those types of markets. So it lets you compare buying now versus buying later in a low rate market. So a really cool, unbiased way for you to take a step back and say, hey, I'm not trying to push you to buy right now, but it might be in your it might be in your best interest to buy now. Here's an unbiased look at buying now versus buying later. So that buy now or buy later calculator, I urge you to open it up, take a look at it. It could definitely be that saving grace for you if you've got that hesitant buyer. In fact, if you don't know how to use it, opening up any of these calculators, there's a play icon in the top left corner that lets you watch a tutorial video about that specific calculator. So definitely a really cool resource I want you to check out. The other calculator I would use with a buyer who's thinking about waiting for lower rates is our buy down calculator. Again, a buy down is just a really important thing for us to be able to talk about with our buyers in today's market. It could be that saving grace for them. And a lot of these buyers don't even know what a buy down is. Maybe the last time that they bought, they didn't have to do a buy down. Rates were better, and so they bought with a better rate. Nobody talked with them about a buy down. This is your opportunity if you're dealing with a buyer who's a little, slow footed, a little bit anxious about where rates are. That could be something that helps them. If they're wanting to wait for a lower rate, 6 months, 9 months for the Fed to cut the rate and give them a half point haircut, you could actually get them that half point lower rate today by structuring the correct offer and asking for a concession. You could actually get them that low rate on the seller's dime in today's market. And so being able to have that conversation about what a buy down is and why it might be beneficial to them, you'll want to open up that buy down calculator and check that one out. For the 2 that are seller calculators, holding costs and true value analysis, these ones both are tools to help you with those unrealistic sellers. Both of them let you talk about holding costs, which is the basic thing we need to be able to talk about with these unrealistic sellers. How much the house is costing as it sits on the market. if you want to price it a little bit more, you're hoping for this higher price, it might sit on the market for longer. And each month it's costing you over 6 to 9 months, and a lot of these areas are seeing higher days on market over 6 to 9 months. That could be a lot of money that seller is throwing away. They might actually be better off listing the house for less and it moving quicker. And so this holding cost calculator lets you educate them on that cost that they don't know about, but you also get to reposition the conversation and say, hey, we need to focus on the net. You might actually net more by listing it for less because it moves faster. So I want to focus in on that net for you and make sure that you're walking with the most, not just selling the house for the most, because you could sell the house for more, but walk with less. And that wouldn't be, best case scenario for us. I want to make sure you're walking with the most. So that holding cost calculator, definitely a really powerful one. The other one, the final one, I urge you to check out. It's probably our best calculator right now, is the true value analysis. And that's where you're able to run 3 net sheets at once and talk about holding costs, but also reductions. That's another thing that a lot of these sellers don't think about. They say, hey, I want to list my house for $800,000. I don't care how long it takes. Do you really not care if it takes 6 months and then you have to do a price reduction? And you're not even netting as much, you really don't care? What if we could sell it for $750 and you're netting more? And so those are the 2 calculators I would use with your sellers right now, is the true value analysis and the holding cost calculator. All right, I want to be respectful of you guys' time. I know we're already at an hour, so let me see if there's any questions. Oh, Michelle, thank you. So happy that it was valuable to you, and hopefully you guys got a lot of use out of this. Thank you. Same to you, Camera. Okay. Ellie asked one last time for the scripts. The way that you can get those scripts, again, I want to direct you. You could reach out to our support team, support@palmagent.com, and we'll send them over to you. But the way that I recommend that you go get them, where you'll have them automatically sent to you right now, is just go to the PalmAgent Instagram page. On our Reels, those first 4 posts there, you want to go in and comment on them. There's a keyword that's listed in the caption. I also say it during the video. Like I said, I think it's rent, values, credit, and rates are the 4. But if you comment on that, we'll automatically send you the strategy, those strategies that I was showing earlier with these strategy PDFs. We'll send you that strategy, which has the script built right in. All right, let me see if there's other questions up here. Oh, we'll make it longer next month for you, Tamara. Well, offer now equals your buy down now. So the social post for what type of post would you do? Your offer now equals your buy down. I do really like that one. I like that phrasing for that, Michelle. Awesome. Well, it's truly been a pleasure. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this session. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, comment on those posts, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the next advanced call. Again, we do this every month where I talk about the newest features that we've introduced or the most relevant calculators and whatever we're highlighting in the monthly marketing package. And so I look forward to seeing you guys in September. We're actually already working on some really cool stuff. Absolutely. If you reach out to our support team, it looks like we have Ron asking for a library of the previous webinars like this. Absolutely. Reach out to our support team and we'll be able to get you those. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day. And it's truly been a pleasure. As always, it was a lot of fun having the opportunity to meet with you. All right. Take care, you guys.